8.1 The African Iceman.
February the 15th, 2018 was the day when 32-year-old Akwasi Frimpong from Ghana entered history, sprinting alongside a tiny sled, jumping onto it face first and hurtling down an ice track at 100 kilometres an hour. He became the first African to compete in the Olympic skeleton.
From Africa to Europe.
Born in 1986, Akwasi was brought up by his grandmother in Kumasi, Ghana, in a 4-square-metre room which housed a family of 10. Aged 8, he joined his mother, who had moved to the Netherlands. He loved sport and was a talented sprinter, becoming the Dutch junior 200-metre champion at the age of 17. However, he never travelled to competitions abroad. Akwasi, whose coaches believed he'd lost his passport, had a secret. His paperwork hadn't been processed, so he was an illegal immigrant and wouldn't have been allowed back into the Netherlands.
From sprinting to skeleton.
In 2008, he finally got his Dutch passport and trained for the 2012 London Olympics, but injury ended his sprinting ambitions. He changed sport and trained in bobsled, an event in which a quick sprint start is essential. But after failing to get into the 2014 Winter Olympic team, he decided to give up competitive sport altogether. However, his wife, Erica, told him she didn't want him forever moaning about his lost Olympic dreams. So Akwasi changed sport again, this time to skeleton racing. He loved it and set his heart on competing in the 2018 Olympics in South Korea, but not for the Netherlands, for his birth country, Ghana.
Back to Africa.
Aged 31, for the first time in 23 years, Akwasi returned to Ghana, where he set up the improbable-sounding Bobsled and Skeleton Federation Ghana. In a country with no snow or ice, he introduced his fellow Ghanaians to winter sports, using a wooden board with wheels. Back in the Netherlands, he trained for the Olympics with money earned by selling vacuum cleaners door to door, and just managed to qualify for South Korea, entering the top 60 in the world.
Success, of a sort.
If life was a Hollywood movie, Akwasi would have won Olympic gold. But of course, he had no chance against his competitors, some of whom had been training for years. He came last. "That is okay," he said. "For me, being at the Winter Olympics is about breaking barriers, to show black people from warm countries can do this as well." He now hopes to win his first Olympic gold medal for Ghana in the 2022 Winter Games, which will be held in Beijing.
8.2 Punctuation and Pronunciation. 1.
The area of London I like best is Soho.
2.
My father, who's a doctor, plays the drums.
3.
The book that I'm reading at the moment is great.
4.
Ed passed his driving test first time, which surprised me.
5.
People who eat too much sugar risk getting diabetes.
6.
I met a man whose aim in life was to visit every capital city in the world.
7.
The Channel Tunnel, which opened in 1995, is a great way to get from England to France.
8.
A short, bald man seen running away from the scene of the crime is being sought by the police.
8.3 Proverbs. 1.
Oh, Evie's kids are a nightmare to have round. They're so badly behaved. Yours are not exactly angels, Sophie. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
2,
They say smoking's bad for you, but my granddad smoked till he was 98.
But it's the exception that proves the rule.
3,
Oh, it's such a lovely day. Cleaning out the garage can wait.
But it's also a good day to do it. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today.
4,
Oh, it's nearly time for you to leave. The day's gone so quickly.
Yes, well, time flies when you're having fun.
5,
Lucas got me a diamond ring from an antique shop. It looks gorgeous, but it turns out it's a fake.
Ha! A classic case of all that glitters is not gold.
6,
Life's great in New Zealand, but I still really miss my little flat in the UK sometimes.
Well, home is where the heart is.
7,
How will you manage on your pension when you retire?
I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
8,
It was such a nightmare buying this house and trying to sell our old one.
Yes, but you're so happy here now. All's well that ends well.
8.4 Present and past participles. 1,
It's raining again.
Oh no, another miserable day when we're stuck indoors.
2,
You look so chilled. It was obviously a good holiday.
Yes, we just sat by the pool and read books for a week. Bliss.
3,
Have you heard? Kevin's left his job and gone to travel around India.
No. Kevin? Ever so careful stay-at-home Kevin? That's incredible. I don't believe it.
4,
Come on in, you must be shattered.
Oh, I am. I've been travelling for the past 36 hours, and I've hardly slept a wink.
5,
What's that noise I can hear?
Oh, it's my neighbour, playing loud music in the garden. He's such a pain. Never thinks of others.
6,
What's wrong? Are you not enjoying this?
Oh, yet another crime drama. And everything is happening so slowly in this one.
7,
I saw you looking very uncomfortable talking to that woman over there. What happened?
Oh, it was horrendous. I asked her when her baby was due, and she said she wasn't pregnant.
8.5 Adding more detail.
A cool young man, lost in thought, was walking slowly down the busy street, listening to music and humming to himself.
8.6 Adding more detail. 1,
A beautiful, long-haired blonde girl, wearing a fashionable polka-dot bikini and leather sandals, was sunbathing sleepily on the wide, white, crowded, sandy Caribbean beach.
2,
A huge, bald, angry-looking policeman came running into the crowded room, brandishing a gun.
3,
A tall, slim teenage boy wearing an orange tracksuit and red baseball cap stole a black leather wallet from a bespectacled old man sitting at the back of a red double-decker London bus yesterday afternoon.
4,
The once famous ageing American comedy actor Kirk Branson was seen entertaining a glamorous young brunette girl yesterday evening in an exclusive Michelin star Paris restaurant frequented by countless international celebrities.
5,
The long-awaited sales and marketing conference, held in a small town on the border of the snowy Austrian Alps, was a huge success, attended enthusiastically by all the members of staff of the multinational Swiss drug company Parasol.
8.7. Helena.
Well, it was when I was living in Cairo, and it was in the middle of the summer, so it was extremely hot, between 40 and 45 degrees centigrade. And stupidly, we decided to go dancing. And we went to this nightclub, and we must have danced for hours and hours. And it was very hot inside the nightclub, and we were sweating profusely. And by the time we came out, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and we decided, wouldn't it be a great idea to go to the pyramids to see the sunrise? So we jumped in a taxi, and the taxi was also quite stuffy and hot. And we must have been starting to dehydrate at this point. Anyway, we got to the pyramids, and the sun was just starting to come up. And in Egypt, as soon as the sun comes up, the temperature rises dramatically. But we were so excited at seeing the pyramids that we decided just to go and walk and see. At this point, a man approached us and asked us if we wanted to borrow his motorbike or hire his motorbike. And so we said yes. So my friend and I, we jumped onto the motorbike and raced out into the desert, only to find, after about 10-15 minutes, that the motorbike was rather old, and suddenly it broke down. So we were miles from anywhere and had to push this motorbike to get back. I was the one at the back pushing the motorbike, and of course I was using lots of energy. I was losing a lot of fluid, and it was getting hotter and hotter. Anyway, we ended up having to walk back to the village to give the motorbike back to the man. And by this time, we were rather fed up and tired and very hot, so we decided to go home. By the time we got home, I did start to feel a bit strange. I had a bit of a headache, and I decided to go straight to bed. Anyway, I woke up about half an hour later, feeling rather confused and sick, a bit nauseous, and I realised that my brain wasn't working properly, and that in fact I probably had heat exhaustion. Anyway, it wasn't very pleasant, and it was a lesson in what not to do in such temperatures. I've never done that again. I always carry my rehydration salts with me.
8.8. Abby.
The time that I was very, very cold was a time when I was working in Russia, in a small town in central Russia, and I was going to see some friends who lived on the outskirts of the town, and they were worried about me getting lost, and they said that they'd come to the tram stop to meet me, but I wanted to be independent, so I told them, don't be silly, of course I'll find it. And on the day of the visit, it was very, very cold. It might have been -30, but it might have been colder than that. And it was so cold that at some of the tram stops and bus stops there were bonfires lit, special street fires, to keep people warm. And I think it was a day when the schools were closed, when the children didn't go to school because it was so cold. So I put on all the clothes that I had, all the scarves and jumpers, and I took the tram to the outskirts of the town where my friends lived. And it was right way out to the end of the line. And I got off the tram, which was heated, into this cold, white world. And it was so cold that when you breathed in, little balls of ice formed in your nostrils. You had to keep a scarf over your mouth and nose. About 2 minutes after getting off the tram, my feet and hands were already hurting. They were so cold. So I was walking around trying to find the flat, but it was completely anonymous, this landscape. And there were these huge snow-covered white blocks, these buildings, 15 or 16 floors, but they all looked exactly the same, and I couldn't find the name of the street either. And it was very, very quiet, and the tram had gone. And I began actually to get very frightened because I was feeling so cold. My feet and hands had gone beyond hurting almost. I couldn't feel them anymore. It was quite difficult to breathe because of the icy scarf over my mouth and nose. And I just couldn't find where they lived. And I asked an old lady the way, but my Russian wasn't good enough. She didn't understand me. And I was beginning to really seriously panic when suddenly in the distance I saw my friends. They'd come to find me, and they took me home.
8.9. 1.
It was over 40 degrees Celsius and we went dancing, which was rather a stupid thing to do.
2.
We visited the pyramids at sunrise, which was just amazing.
3.
The motorbike broke down in the desert, which was no laughing matter.
4.
My friends were worried I'd get lost, which was understandable.
5.
My nostrils actually froze, which was very painful.
6.
The old lady couldn't understand me, which is hardly surprising with my Russian.
8.10. Extreme adjectives. 1.
Shall I turn the heating down? It's very hot in here.
Please do. I'm absolutely boiling.
2.
It's silly having to use all these passwords for everything, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely ridiculous. How are you supposed to remember them all?
3.
Cara looks lovely, doesn't she? What a beautiful dress.
Oh, wow. She looks absolutely stunning.
4.
Dan tells such good jokes. He's very funny, isn't he?
Oh, yes. He's absolutely hilarious sometimes.
5.
I'll cook some lunch if you're hungry.
Hungry? You bet. I didn't have breakfast, so I'm absolutely starving.
6.
Was Lisa upset when she heard the bad news?
Oh, she was absolutely devastated.
8.11. Quite. 1. A.
He's quite nice.
B.
He's quite nice.
2. A.
She's quite clever.
B.
She's quite clever.
8.12. 1. A.
That book was quite interesting. You should read it.
B.
That book was quite interesting, but I wouldn't really recommend it.
2. A.
I'm quite tired. Shall we stop playing?
B.
I'm quite tired, but I could play one more game.
8.13. A Night at the Oscars.
Well, I certainly know how heartbreaking it is to lose out on these awards, so I'm absolutely thrilled and amazed to finally receive one. I am so grateful to all the wonderful people who voted for me. It's a huge honor to be named Best Actor and for Riviera Rose to win Best Film. We were all absolutely exhausted at the end of shooting, but we knew we'd made a fantastic film. I guess none of us imagined it would be such an enormous success, though. Okay, I know it's awful to have to listen to long lists of thank yous, but I have to say something about some of the brilliant people involved. So, special thanks to writer Claire Baxter for creating fascinating characters and an absolutely hilarious script. To Michael Davis for his excellent direction. And to Barry Kenwood for his truly stunning cinematography. And last but not least, thank you to my gorgeous wife for her support. I love you, Kayla, and I love you all.
8.14. 1,
My sister has just given birth to twins.
2,
Let's go away for the weekend. It's been ages since we've had a break.
3,
I failed my driving test. The examiner said turn left and I turned right.
4,
More than 20 people were injured in the motorway pile-up this morning.
5,
Look at the state of this room. Have you ever seen anywhere so untidy?
6,
Look, it's raining again.
7,
I wanted to ring the phone company to complain, but there's no contact number for them anywhere.
8,
Our dog went missing for 3 days, but then she turned up looking absolutely fine.
9,
Jason told me that my hair looked worse after I'd had it cut.
10,
The shop assistant said it was normal for washing machines to break down after a year.
8.15. Sounds.
Oops.
Phew.
Yuck.
Oh. Duh.
Ouch. Wow. Eh?
Ha ha.
8.16. Listen and reply. 1,
How's your chicken curry? Is it okay?
2,
After all that training, my marathon was cancelled because of the snow.
3,
I bumped into an old school friend when I was on holiday in Peru.
4,
Mind your head going through that door. Oh, too late.
5,
Why isn't this coffee machine working this morning?
6,
Could you pour me some more wine?
7,
Did you know they eat horse meat in some countries? And snails? And pig's feet?
Eight.
It looks a bit like a zebra crossing, that black and white dress. Make sure people don't walk over you.
9.
I got the tests back from the hospital. Everything's fine.
10.
Why is there grubby old recycling bin in here?
8.17. Listen and check. 1,
How's your chicken curry? Is it okay?
It's absolutely delicious. Just the way I like it. Spicy, but not too hot.
2,
After all that training, my marathon was cancelled because of the snow.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What a shame. You must be so disappointed.
3,
I bumped into an old school friend when I was on holiday in Peru.
Wow, how amazing. What are the chances of that happening?
4,
Mind your head going through that door. Oh, Too late.
Ouch, that really hurt. It's a pain being tall sometimes.
5.
Why isn't this coffee machine working this morning?
Duh, you forgot to plug it in. They do work better with electricity.
6.
Could you pour me some more wine?
Oops, I've spilt it. Sorry about that. At least it's white and not red.
7.
Did you know they eat horse meat in some countries? And snails? And pig's feet?
Yuck! That's disgusting. You wouldn't catch me eating any of those.
8.
It looks a bit like a zebra crossing, that black and white dress. Make sure people don't walk over you.
Ha ha, very funny. You really should get a job as a comedian.
9.
I got the tests back from the hospital. Everything's fine.
Phew! What a relief! It must be a weight off your shoulders.
10.
Why is there grubby old recycling bin in here?
Eh? What did you say? Don't talk with your mouth full.